Sunday night, Patrick Mahomes plays at Lambeau for the first time when the Chiefs battle the Packers. Sunday, 7 Eastern, of course, on NBC and Peacock. What's on Tap is brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Nothing is as easy to enjoy as Sunday full of football and a fridge full of beer, but these are the games we're locking in on. They got the highest point totals going into the weekend. And guys, we will start right there with the Dolphins traveling to play the Commanders. The over-under is 49.5 in this game. Miami obviously favored by 9.5 points. So as we got the news at the top of the show, Matthew, that it sounds like De'Von Achane will play, do you just throw him right back in your lineup, or is this a wait and see with him?
I don't think you're going to have a choice there. You see it there on my screen in terms of, Howell and Tua are both top 10 plays there. And so you can check out my ranks on, and if you're just listening, check out my ranks on rotoworld.com for free in terms of this. But most of the guys, I think, most of the obvious guys in this game, I think you're starting. We expect a ton of points here. I have Achane at running back 21. As we're getting positive reports, to your point, NFL Network reporting this morning, I hadn't updated my ranking. I updated my rankings last night after the game, but prior to that news that Achane is definitely playing. And so the running back 21 was a little bit of a hedge but I'll probably move him up there. Yeah, I just think the upside on Achane in a high-scoring game, I just don't know how you bench him, especially in a week with 6 teams on a bye. Since week 9, Commanders give up the third most fantasy points to opposing running backs. They've allowed at least 90 rushing yards to running backs in 3 of the last 4 games, again, since week 9. And so Achane, who's had at least 21 fantasy points in every game that he's gotten 10 touches or more, just feels like he's just too big upside, and they're going to want to get him going.
I think so. And he's probably the one guy in the league where he can get 9 touches and you can feel okay about what he's going to do with them. So with the matchup, which is not very imposing, I think that with all those teams on a bye, you're probably going to have to start Achane.
And I get the hesitation because the last time I started him, he played like 1 snap and then he came out again. He gets hurt again. And I get that. They're not going to risk him it's welcome to football. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, welcome to fantasy football. Like, any player could get hurt on any play. Like, I think if you got Achane, I think you're rolling with him.
And let's not overlook, Mostert's battling some things, too.
Yeah, sure.
Mostert hasn't been full go at practices week after week, so they're going to have to split this up no matter what between these guys.
Do you think it's going to be a 3-headed monster?
Right. That's kind of why, is it Jeff Wilson now getting a 30% or more of that pie, I think is the real question, too.
Yep.
The positives is that the Commanders are so bad that they all should be actually fine. And then on Monday we'll be able to say, okay, now we sort of know what this backfield looks like.
Jay, you think this lives up to the shootout expectations it has? Because there is some risk here that it's just a blowout and kind of turns into a clock-grinding game instead. 49.5 is a lot.
I think that the Miami passing game is just so explosive, and that the Washington Commanders' defense, since losing Sweat, it was already bad, and now they've lost Sweat and Chase Young off that pass rush. They're just drawing dead. They've just got absolutely no hope of containing a team like Miami. So I think that Miami are going to score at will through the air, and I think that Howell is good enough to be able to play from behind and put up points himself. So I do expect that this will be very high scoring.
By the way, and this is the first game that they'll have without Jack Del Rio, their defensive coordinator, who they let go of after the Thanksgiving game. But by the way, Ron Rivera is coaching the defense. Like, he's calling the plays. When was the last time Ron Rivera actually called defensive plays? It's been a long time.
Let him cook.
Right?
Let Ron cook.
I mean,
he's got
we'll see.
I'm just set a fire and burn the house down.
We'll see, but I don't know how well this is going to go, to be perfectly honest.
Probably not well as well, because also if you could choose one game to not make your return, it would probably be this one against
Mike
Tyreek McDaniel,
who's had extra time because they played the Friday game, so he's had extra time to prepare
Forget about
for this
additional
game.
Rest as well on top of all these elements. Yeah, the Commanders might be in trouble.
This is dicey.
Hot take.
But to answer your question,
Think
Connor,
they
I
lose.
do, because I will say, for as bad as the defense has been, the offense has moved the ball, despite the fact that it's a bad offensive line, despite the fact they've constantly been in negative game scripts, and you sort of know what's coming and that they're going to be pass happy. Like, give Sam Howell credit, give Eric Bieniemy credit. They have moved the ball. They've involved a bunch of different players, and so yes, I think it'll be junk time. I think the Dolphins win. I think they cover, but I do think the Commanders will move the ball, and 49.5. I think the over hits.
Yep. Sam Howell's kind of setting up through the Matt Schaub of his era. Feels like it, doesn't it? Probably not quite the guy, but moves the ball.
I like Sam Howell. He's a future Hall of Famer.
People like Matt Schaub.
There you go. Fair enough.
Our next one here, Niners 3 points favorites against the Eagles. The over-under pretty similar in this one, 48 points. And Jay, obviously we have a lot of top fantasy players in this one. Any concern for DeAndre Swift against that 49ers front?
A little bit of concern about his efficiency. Arik Armstead's been on the injury report, but it looks like he is going to play. So the Niners are at full health. They're fully rested. They've surely been thinking about this game since January of last season. But I just think that the Eagles, with their skill position players, with Goddard out, and look, Goddard is actually practicing today, but I would expect he's probably still not going to play because he hasn't gotten a full practice in yet since his injury. This Philadelphia offense is just so concentrated to three guys. We talked about this yesterday. It's Devontae, it's Smith, Swift, and A.J. Brown. And so I think that all those guys are just going to get there through volume. Swift, maybe he's not efficient on the ground, but I think he'll add work in the passing game too.
Well, but my concern is that he just hasn't been used in the passing game nearly as much recently, right? Single-digit target share in 3 of the past 4 games. It's a brutal matchup against the Niners. Last 4 weeks, they allow the second fewest fantasy points per game to opposing running backs. And in fact, every running back they've faced in that stretch has been held to under 60 total yards. And that includes Zach Charbonnet, Rashad White, Travis Etienne. So not exactly like, bad running backs. I mean, White's not super efficient, but he's gotten there. I think what you're hoping for is that Swift falls into the end zone. He's had at least 1 goal-to-go carry now in 4 straight games. And so I'm nervous about him. But for our purposes, I don't know that there's anything you can do about it. I'm at running back 11 because of his offense and we're in a 6 teams on a bye week. You have to start him.
Yeah, and people also, it's gone a bit too far with the Eagles. Like, the Eagles are really freaking good. And he's the number 1 lead running back behind that offensive line with Jalen Hurts as his quarterback. You just got to start him every week.
All right, our final one here, Broncos at Texans. Yes, the Broncos at Texans, a high point total, 47.5. It's been better sledding for the Broncos offense recently. We know what C.J. Stroud and that offense can do as well. And Matthew, is Samaje Perine actually gaining a bigger role in this backfield like we thought in the preseason that never truly came to light? Or is there some things going on here that are a bit of a fluke?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. So listen, the positives are that he had 7 rushes last week, which was the season high, and they use him in the passing game as well. But I don't think if you look at the last 2 games, 2 weeks ago, a lot of his usage against Minnesota came on that last drive, where they were they were in the 2-minute drill and they were hustling up as well. And then last week he got the touchdown. Okay, fine, but his last game with more than 8 touches was week 5. Jaleel, I feel like on the depth chart, he's past Jaleel McLaughlin, right? It's Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, Jaleel McLaughlin is how I think that, but he's still clearly behind Javonte Williams. I'm at running back 30. In a week in which 6 teams are on bye, I'm at running back 30. I think it's just, I know you see the box score and you're like, 13 points back-to-back, he could be usable, but he was out there in a lot of my leagues this week, and I didn't put a bid on him.
Yeah, he's extremely game script dependent. He's going to need the Broncos to be down, to be throwing constantly. Otherwise, I just don't see the upside for him. Javonte's clearly the guy in this backfield.
And they like McLaughlin and Williams in the passing game as well. Again, so it's just he got bailed out by 1 big drive and then a touchdown last week. So my running back 30, I'm fine. If you're desperate in a game in which we expect the Broncos to pass a lot, he could be semi-usable as an RB3, but not feeling the same hype that we saw in the preseason. No, I think it's a little fluky.
That'll do it for What's on Tap, presented by Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. We're taking our last break. When we're back, last call. Jay and I got pickup lines for Matthew.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.